Hey everyone, welcome to the first real training session up at the cabin. Not just finding maxes, but putting in the work, putting in those reps up here at 10,000 feet. Son of a bitch, you lose your breath. So it gets quite difficult going for reps, and this progression you're about to see here is new. Might detail it in a training log as I go over on the RGZCL subreddit, so be sure to check out the link below for that. And in that subreddit, you will find tons of support from very awesome, experienced members who have used the GZCL method in their own training and in others. So be sure to go over to that place and check it out. Lots of great meet reports as well. And if you've ever had a doubt on the method and the ways that it has been applied and the templates that I've put out through the different programs like Jacked and Tan and the UHF. If you've ever had a doubt, go to that subreddit. There's guys, gals putting in the work, seeing mad gains. Now what you're seeing here is me trying to see some of my own mad gains. This is with the progression format, totally new, but exactly as described in applications and adaptations. This is a max rep set progression, and it is something I've wanted to try for a while, and I figure it would be a great way to just build my work capacity, because that's what I need to do. I need to adapt to this new and training environment, and I also need to really get back to training, because I hate to say it, but there's definitely been an amount of detraining in these last 3 weeks during this move. So, while a bummer, got to accept the sad facts, got to also accept the facts that I'm walking around at about 165 right now, so I'm not going to be squatting 500 pounds just willy-nilly like I probably could have during some parts of last year when I was walking around, closer to 185, 190 pounds. All of that baloney aside, let's talk about the future, and that is here, starting now with a max rep set progression based on total volume goals in each tier. So, if you reach these volume goals, you're allowed to add X amount to the bar. And that volume goal is going to stay more or less the same. And it's a very simple thing to describe. So, in our tiers, we've got those ranges of 10 to 15 in the T1, 20 to 30 in the T2, and then 30 plus for each exercise in the T3. On most GZCL programs for people getting into the method, it's usually one exercise per tier with maybe 2 or 3 in the third tier. For me, being an advanced level lifter, I've got 2 T2 exercises and 3 to 4 T3 exercises. And that's simply because my work capacity can allow for that type of stuff. Now, make sure, if you do intend to use max rep set progression, you work within your own work capacity. This is one of those things you cannot build a program on. You need to be able to build your own program to you. This is more or less off-the-shelf guidance, but never an off-the-shelf outline, really. I mean, I could put out volume recommendations like I have, but it's got to be up to you to regulate that. That's where this is coming in here. Progressing the max rep sets on the volume goals of getting more than 15 pounds is allowing me to add 10 pounds to my next training session for this training session here. So this is my day 1 training session. This is high bar squats with some RDLs, Bulgarian split squats, and then some back work and some curls. Great day. If I want to get this day to progress, especially in the T1, hit more than 15 reps. I did not, so I'll be adding 5 pounds. Be adding 5 pounds for hitting between 10 to 15 repetitions work capacity at 85% of my training max. So now that percentage will go up. Cody, how are we gonna eventually, the reps, it will go down? I know what you're saying, guys. Yes, gals. I know exactly what you're saying. But in order to continue making intensity gains, you have to find a way to put in more work. That's just, you cannot do less work and expect more gains. It doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it did not. And it will never. I've tried. It doesn't work. It just, guys, you have to put in the work. So, let's say you're consistently adding 5 pounds per week because you're getting within that 10 to 15 reps across those 3 max rep sets that I'm doing. For you, it could be maybe 2 or 4. Well, if I don't get to 10, then I'll just add a 4th set, a 4th max rep set. By that time, expect to be averaging 3 to 2 reps per set maybe, and getting about 10. Progressing that again as long as I can until I retest for another training max. From that point in time, I might start a more traditional GZCL kind of progression, maybe finish up a UHF. But right now, I'm expecting this max rep set progression to last me maybe 6 to 8 weeks. I'm really going to try to push for 8 weeks on max rep set progression across all 3 tiers. And in the 3rd tier, granted, some movements are just better left at not adding weight, like lateral raises. I just don't really think that there's a reason to do those with anything above like 30 pounds, maybe, even if you're the Hulk. I mean, come on. So there's other ways to push intensity on those, like regulating rest, stuff like that. With the max rep set progression, mostly focused on hitting my rep totals, those goals in the T1 and the T2, so I can then add the amount of weight that I want to add. And that's the motivating factor behind this progression. And we'll kind of shift the direction of the video on that, motivating factors in your training. And max rep sets, exploiting one that many training programs do not allow you to use. And that's simply just giving you a goal and saying, hey, here's your goals. If you reach these goals, this is your direct reward. And sure, in some other training programs, like starting strength, like you hit your volume, you get to add 5 pounds or whatever, whoop to do. But if you have a badass day, why not kick ass, take names, and add a little bit more weight? And that's fine. Going into your next training session, that's the thing about training programs that I do have a problem with. And that's one of the reasons why I did hold off on putting out real programs after the GZCL method for a year or 2. So, with max rep sets, you push as hard as you can, as often as you can, as sustainably as you can. You got to be on point with that recovery. You might make gains faster, not because the program is magical, simply because it exploits a motivational factor that you have not even experienced before. I definitely feel like we're way more capable, not just as lifters, but as human beings, to do way more than what we think we can. And many of you probably feel that same way. You get in that first year of training and you hit the 1,000-pound club a month early, or something like that. Or hell, you even just get it on the number, or even just a few months late. Point is, you hit the 1,000-pound club and now you just see how much easier it is to get stronger. It's not that the task is any easier, but now it's normalized to you, and you know the different avenues of approach to making progression. And that's one of the great things about the GZCL method and the different means that it can be used in your own training. There's those different avenues of progression. So the max rep sets being an avenue that not really any training program out there does. And that's not giving you defined sets, not giving you defined reps, just saying, here is the work capacity goal. Try to get within this, and then progress from there. You have to have a much deeper understanding of your own ability to make something like this work. It is an advanced training program, but it's not a hard thing to understand. If you give yourself 3 sets to do 15 reps, that's 5 reps average. That's 85% starting point of your training max. If you can do 5 repeats at 85%, you got really good work capacity. Guess what? I couldn't. It means my work capacity needs improvement. So, that's how this is progressing. It's a pretty simple thing to understand once you start reading and kind of understanding it, and even doing maybe a couple weeks of just experimenting with your own training. Coming towards the end of the video here, we'll leave off on that, experimenting with your own training. Mini rant on programs. In this last year, I've put out the UHF, deadlift waveforms, the Rippler, Jacked and Tan 2.0, and then previous to that there were the Intro Plus, regular Plus programs, the GZCL regular, like on TSR, all that stuff. The original Jacked and Tan, so many programs that you could stick to and see moderate success, decent success. The rate of gains on people running off-the-shelf GZCL programs is pretty good. But with coaching or with some personalized touches to these off-the-shelf programs, what are really just training templates, you make those things your own, your rate of gains will be higher. So, with good coaching, with a good understanding of the method and your own ability, you'll be able to have a longer term progression and a higher rate of gains. It really just boils down to how best do you understand training and understand your own training, and then understand how to train in the future. Like you're making predictions on your future abilities based on an in-depth knowledge of your past abilities. And that's where it really comes down to. And it sounds like it's a whole lot and you've got to consider all of this and that. There is such thing as paralysis by analysis, and you get in that quagmire of data and you don't know how to make progression. Well, guess what? It's really simple. You just put in the effort and you're going to make progression. The data, the figures, you can have any types of fancy numbers or formulas to tell you how you're going to progress. That doesn't matter. What matters is the effort, and the best way you can regulate that effort consistently and sustainably. I feel like the max rep sets progression is going to be pretty awesome for about the next 8 weeks. Hoped you enjoyed the training video. Maybe you learned a little bit. Welcome to Cabin Fever. Thanks for watching.